Hi, I'm Richard Hinke, and this is my sharing video number 1 on Android HTTP communication. First off, let me just show you a little bit of the code. And what I used to build this with is Android Studio. I tried to get this to work with Eclipse, but I wasn't very successful in that. So if any of you find out how to do that, then I would love to know. But all of this is going to be with Android Studio. And it took me quite a while to get this up and running. And so I'm going to share with you guys my GitHub link. So if you'd like, you can just download the work that I've already done, because to get the HTTP communication really isn't that difficult, but getting everything set up behind it was. So this right here is this is the main code to run our Android app here. And so this onCreate method, this is kind of like your main class in like C++ or some other languages. And I'm not going to talk too much about all of that, but I will talk about down here where I had to learn how to run this class that I created called HTTP Manager as a background thread so that it didn't interfere with our main threading process for our Android app. So just a little bit about different HTTP clients. There's two that are mainly used. One of them is built by Apache, but as of the last couple years, Google says that they're no longer going to support them. And so I'm going to be doing all of mine on HTTP URL connection, which should be supported for, that's what everything's leading to right now, according to the sources that I've studied up on. So what we're going to do is, in this HTTP Manager class, I just passed in a URL, and it's just a string from another function that I'm calling from my Android app. And in here, we're just going to build a buffer reader, and we're going to use that URL that we passed in and build a URL object, which is going to allow us to open that connection to the web. And then we're going to typecast it to an HTTP URL connection type, and we're going to call that con. Next, we're going to use string builder, and we're going to read in that content, and then we're going to loop through and save each line of that we're receiving from our URL and append it to a string so that we can then return the string to our app screen. And actually, I'm going to get this started, because that's another thing with building Android apps, is to play around with them safely. You have to run an emulator. And so some of the work that I had to do was set up this emulator. And the first time you run it, it takes quite a while. And so I'm just going to get that started right now. So while we're waiting for that, I'll explain a little bit more of this. So I have this set up in a try catch block, and that's just going to help us in case there's any errors that come up. And I'm not really handling the errors. I'm just printing them to the screen, essentially. So that's what these are going to do. They're just going to print to the screen if anything comes up, like we weren't able to connect to the address that I passed in or whatnot. Some of the tools that were helpful for me in trying to figure all of this out was just the main website where you download the Android Studio software. They'll help you walk through most of the stuff that you need to download and the packages and everything to get that running. And then the HTTP URL connection stuff, all of that mostly came from YouTube, a couple blogs, and then the largest part was from lynda.com. And so if you don't have a lynda.com account, I'd recommend maybe, at least for this class, getting one, because they have tons and tons and tons of tutorials and helpful videos that really explain in detail how all of this stuff works. And it's only about $25 a month, and you can sign up for maybe a couple months while we're taking this class, and then if you don't like it or need it, then you could cancel it. But so far I found it really helpful in getting all of this. So it looks like our emulator is up. So this is the app right here. And I'm just going to click this do task, and what that's going to do is it's going to pull it's going to open that web link and pull that onto our page. And so this is it right here. And I've added a few things like a scroll bar so that you can scroll down and actually see all of the content if you wanted to. And it's not very pretty. We're just getting the raw data from it and displaying it to the screen. So hopefully soon I'll be able to learn how to handle all of that by the time we get to when we actually build our app. But right now, this is pulling it from the web. And if you have any questions, feel free to post it to the video. If I can, I'll try to answer them or find answers for you. And again, I'll post some of the resources that I was able to find so that you guys can, it'll make your learning curve a lot easier than mine was in getting this started. So thank you for watching my sharing video, and have a good week.